So guys, for Sasha I must make now a book stand, or the problem is at school the desks that they use are so small they can only open one book and then put some pencil cases down, and then the table is full. And they most of the time work from 2 A4 size books like this. So what I've decided to do is make a little book stand where one book can stand up straight and she can sit with another one on the side or in front of it. Otherwise what they do is they put one book on the floor and they sit with a book on the side, on the table. So to see if we can make it easier for the child, I'm going to make a little book stand that she can actually put one book upright and then one flat on the desk where she studies at school now. So I selected a piece of off-cut Kiata I had in the wood rack, and I'm going to make it as light as possible and as foldable and small as possible so that she can actually put it in her backpack or in her school bag. So the plan is still half in my head. I'm gonna build it as we go. Let's see what this ends up like. So I'm gonna try first and see if I can make them 12 millimeters wide or half an inch in the wrong language. And let's see. So guys, the way I decided to make the little frame is by doing half flaps everywhere. And the half flaps I did with a Festool Mitre or the KS60E. I'm still getting used to the machine. It's so accurate and nice. For example, to show you, when do you know your half flap is good? If you put them together without glue or screws or clamps or anything, they must sit very nice. So yes, that thing's half flaps is tremendously accurate. So what's gonna happen now is I'm just gonna glue it, and that's the reason why I did the half flaps, because I don't want to use screws or nails in it. So by doing the half flaps I just created more glue surface. I'm just gonna quickly glue it, then I'll show you. So guys, don't laugh at me, but this is the plan I came up with. So the profile is still thin, it won't take much space in a bookcase. Basically one book's thickness it will take away, but it's got quite a lot of parts. So what I came up with is 2 little footrests that will swing out, give it place to stand on, and then 2 little legs for the book to lie on. So if I turn it around, you see it from that side, and she can take a book and she can put it down and she can read. It takes a very little bit of space on the table. That was the whole idea. Can't put too wide a leg. The reason why I put the little pegs for the book to stand on is because if they're not there and the weight of the book doesn't press down on the frame, then this thing will actually fall over. So you need the weight of the book on the little book stand, shall I say, and then she stands quite solid and nice, and she can now page and work with her book standing in front of her. If you can think of any ideas to make this simpler or easier, please comment and tell me. But this is the plan, or the idea that I came up with. And the space it takes is very minimal. I mean, I think the book was actually quite thicker than this. So let's see if she can use it. So guys, with the chest of drawers I'm building now for a customer, it's going to have 6 drawers, 1 meter high, 1.3 meters wide and 500 millimeters deep. I'm going to build it from ply, the carcass, and the finishing will be done in pine. That's what the customer wanted, and that's what we're going to build. Most of the building work I'm going to do, or the assembly work I'm going to do with the correct pocket holes, which you are probably familiar with, but I will show you. I'm going to start ripping this up into pieces and parts, and I'll show you from there. So guys, Conrad was here last night and we cut the parts quickly, and now today I'm just quickly doing the carcass assembly. I didn't bore you with the assembly. It's basically just I put pocket holes everywhere. So the top 2 braces and the base is all attached with pocket holes. The center divider I'm going to fit also now with pocket holes. But what's very important for me is I first put the clamp on to make sure this whole box is 110% square. This side and that side. And then I've cut myself 2 little spaces that's exactly the same length. Because we're going to put drawers in here, once I start cutting drawers, I want to cut all the parts at once. I don't want variance. So for that I've cut the braces, or the spaces, to an exact size. So when I screw it, I'm going to put my spaces in, screw it, move them, screw it, and then also move them to the top and screw it. Doing that, I know that my distances on both sides is exactly the same, and my drawers will fit. So I'm quickly going to fit this center brace, and then we'll talk again. And I think all of us know the trusty old Craig K4. I'm just using it a little bit upside down, but works just as well. It's now pocket hole drilled, top and bottom. Let's fix it. So guys, what I'm doing here is picking up all of the solid pine parts to make up the front face frame. you'll start to understand. Now I'm still battling myself. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a frame inside the box, and that's why the center divider was sunken back by 18 millimeters. So I've cut up the stock 18 millimeters, and there's 3 different sizes. The center frame I made 40 millimeters, 42 millimeters, because I needed 12 millimeters and a 12 millimeters on the sides for the draw runners. The ones on the side I can't make just 12 millimeters for the draw runner, so I made them 30 millimeters so that I can put an 18 millimeter and then the draw runner on top of that. So I've designed these 3 just for the draw runners. Then now I'm going to make the dividers that's going to go in here. There's going to be one here and another one there, going right through to the other side. And the way I would like to do them is I'm going to half lap these 2, but on the end I'm just going to do pocket holes, just for the looks of it, and of course to play with a new dado stack. So yes, that's the basic idea. Over this there's going to be another frame coming that's going to stick out on the side, both sides. That's going to incorporate the leg, which is 70 millimeters long at the bottom, and then afterwards we'll do the top. So basically there's going to be another frame on top of this one that is just on the outsides with extended legs front and back. It's going to incorporate the legs and create a little bit of a frame. The height of this must be the same, or the thickness of this frame, it's going to be the same thickness as the draw fronts. That's the idea. So guys, I don't know if you've noticed now there, what I've done is I've cut myself 3 little spaces, and then them I used to make sure that my spaces between my drawers stay exactly the same. And I use those spaces everywhere, on this side, that side, this side and that side, to make sure my blocks stay exactly the same. And the whole idea in that is just to make the drawers easier. Once I start cutting drawers, I want to do one size fit all. And now of course the big question is, does this fit? It should fit. Okay, it fits nicely. My 12mm reveals, and then of course 30mm where I'm going to put a piece of 18mm and then a 12mm draw runner on top, on the 2 sides. I'm happy with that. A little bit of sanding before I fix this. this is a good frame. So guys, that's as far as we're gonna get for this week. So we just made this week for Sasha, we made the little frame for her books, and I started the chest of drawers. And as you have noticed, I've used the Craig Pocket Hole jig quite a lot. This is the older model. There's actually a newer model out, they call it something else, I can't remember. But there's actually one after this, which is the K5, which is also auto adjust, and then they brought out the newer one that is totally auto adjustable, but I don't know. This thing works for me like a charm. One thing you should know or have noticed in the video, I don't know if you saw that I used two different screws. For the harder wood, which in this case is plywood, I used a fine thread screw on the Craig, which the thread is much finer than the coarse thread which I used in the softwood, which is now pine. So if I can show you there, I don't know if you can see it there, but so yeah, coarse thread for your softer woods, and then a fine thread for your harder woods. The Craig screws are expensive, and one thing I noticed that if you buy them in packs of 250 or 500, your price per screw actually drops quite a lot. If you buy the small packets like this in 100s, the price per screw is actually quite ridiculous. My supplier didn't have stock, and that's why I bought the small packs, and it's enough for this project anyway. So yes guys, pocket holes, I know there's a whole bunch of people, the older guys in our woodworkers guild, that says no, it's cheating, it's not real woodwork. But I'm one of those. If you don't keep up with times, we would have all been driving horse-drawn carts still. So keep up with the times and make your life easier. As long as your cuts are square, the Craig Pocket Hole jig is an amazing jig to have. You don't have to sit and wait for glue to dry, clamps in the way. Once you screwed it, you're gone with the project. You don't have to sit and wait. That's the big thing for me. And the accuracy and the ease of it just makes it worth it. So guys, Craig Pocket Hole jig, really something you can invest in. So guys, have a nice week. We'll see you next week when we continue with this. I'll start with the front frame then. This one must still be fixed, the inside frame. Then I'll start with the front frames with the legs, get them done. The back I'm gonna put last once all the draw runners and everything is in. And hopefully by the end of next week we'll be almost done with this. See you then.